That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to GWR Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, Monday, September 22nd, 2025. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S and Marcus Fine. How's it going, guys?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing good. Warren Misery couldn't make it today. He's got some other things going on, so shout out to Warren. Hope he has a good day. We'll get started. I think we're going to bring in Alex Bolton from FEW and let him promote a big show that he's got coming up this Saturday in Greenfield, Indiana.
You know what? I was just thinking, Warren said he had to work, couldn't be on tonight. It ain't that. He getting ready for that Detroit Lions football game tonight. He's slacking to watch the football. That's why Warren is tonight.
We'll call him out right now about it.
How's it going, Alex?
How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I seen you online giving the New York Giants hell after last night's game.
As the only person that I know that's actually a Giants fan, I think I had the right to be mad.
Yeah, you was a little upset.
Yeah, come on. It's like you got first and goal. You throw the ball up the freaking hall. Then you run on second down with a QB draw. And then you throw it away twice, including fourth and goal, and you throw the ball away. Don't even try to get it to a receiver. Yeah, I was pretty upset.
Yep. Well, we got Alex on with us today. He's going to tell us a little bit about a big show this Saturday, September 27th in Greenfield, Indiana, FEW Supremacy. So, Alex, if you want to tell us what time the show is, how much it costs, all that good information, and tell us a little bit about the show.
All right. Well, first, Warren's not here because he knows that, I'm the true ratings draw. So he didn't want to be here because he knows that I'm the ratings draw. So this makes sure that that's there. If you notice the last couple of times I've been on, he hasn't been on. He's intimidated by me. So let's start there. Anyway, so
have you ever been intimidated by Alex? Is Warren?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so our show starts at doors open at 5, bell time's at 6. Tickets right now are currently $12. They go up to $15 at the door. We have some massive things going on. Obviously, we have the first ever North American champion going to be crowned with a 16-man one-night tournament. It's going to start with 4 fatal 4-ways, and then the winner of 2 will go. Match 1 and 2, and the winner of those 2 will face in a singles match, and then 3 and 4 will go in a singles match, and then finally the final 2 will have a match to determine the first ever FEW North American champion.
Sounds interesting.
We have Matt Diesel coming in to challenge Ashton Adonis for the FEW World Heavyweight Championship, which that match is going to be an absolute barn burner.
Absolutely.
I think that match right there is worth the admission. But, we have a lot of debuts, a lot of returns. We have probably Steve Butler's probably favorite match. We have all 4 members of Empire in the first Fatal 4-Way match. So Mikey Jenkins is facing JT Kirk, Matthew Grant, and Crystal Moon. With all the animosity and Empire snapping in half per se, we're gonna see who really comes out on top in this situation. We have Hank Calhoun facing Mike Noble and PD Skills debuting with and Colby Jack in the other one. That's we all know Hank Hank's no stranger to anywhere in Indiana, but I don't think any of these guys are really ready for this PD skill guy that is making his FEW debut. We have Cody Travers, which he impressed during the Kids in Carthage show, so he's coming in to face Jackson Morgan, Hemingway, and Bird. So that he has a heck of a debut match for FEW. You know, Jackson and Bird and Hemingway has been the pillars of FEW, and he has a long way to go to get to the championship match for sure. And then we have Connor Knox facing Tony Thunder, Ricky Guns, and Travis Moore. Ricky Guns, I don't know what his problem is, but you know, he's kind of aligned himself with Mark House, and I thought we were friends, and you know, I'm still trying to figure out everything going on with the Mark House situation, and I do have my attorney looking at the contract that me and him signed. But as of right now, it's looking pretty airtight. So we'll get it figured out. FEW faithful will always come out on top. You know, it's not FEW is not about one man. FEW is about the entirety of FEW, not about just one man. So Mark House's ego can get out of here.
Sounds like you got a real good show, an action-packed show, a lot of matches.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of action with fatal four-ways. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So the big main event, I don't know if it's going to be the main event, but the championship match, that's going to be that should be Diesel's very good. Heard a lot about him, and then of course I know the other gentleman. I've seen him quite a few times. So that should be a great match.
Yeah, Ashton Adonis, he's demanded to face the best talent that we can get our hands on, and Matt Diesel said that there is no other talent better than him. So we're gonna find out. I've only seen Matt Diesel wrestle live one time, but I know from that one time that Ashton Adonis might have bit off more than he can chew.
That sounds like a great show. Can you tell us again the time of the show, the date, and all that good stuff, prices and stuff?
We're at the beautiful H.J. Rick Center, which I know you guys all love. It's a very unique venue for pro wrestling. It's 122 West Main Street in Greenfield, Indiana. Our doors open at 5, bell times at 6. Right now, if you go on FEW, FrontierEliteWrestling.com, tickets are $12. At the door, they're $15. Make sure that if you guys are buying your tickets online, you guys put in your favorite wrestler's code. Every single wrestler on our show has a code that helps the wrestler, that helps us, helps the wrestler. Make sure you put their code in just so we can see who really is the face of FEW. And I mean, I think the guys kind of have a little competition in the back about it as well. So
how is that working? Is you getting a lot of response to doing that?
A lot of people are using codes now, which is good. Ideally, I would like to see where every single ticket that gets sold has a code to it. It helps me, it helps them. You know, it's one of those things where whether it's even if you don't know somebody, every single code that's on there. I had a guy that was his first time ever coming last show, but he had went to the Bike Fest show. He actually reached out to me on my personal Facebook page and asked me one of the wrestlers' code because he wanted to come to the show, but he didn't want to buy the ticket without using this guy's code.
Awesome, dude.
So it's a great thing. I really encourage other promotions to do it. It really allows you to see like who the fans really are getting behind, and it's interesting to see 1 month somebody will use one code and then they'll use somebody else's code the next month. So it's very interesting to see just the dynamics of that.
That sounds great, son. It's going to be a great show again. I know that Marcus and Chris feel the same way as I do, that they put on great shows there at FEW. Definitely go check them out. I don't know if Warren feels that way, but I won't speak for him. But,
Warren's too afraid to show up. He doesn't want to be outshined.
I know you and Warren has a rivalry, but
You keep saying good things about FEW. We're not going to be able to have Alex on no more. His head won't fit in the screen. It's just gonna
Well,
Have you noticed that I've never had the same background?
his head's pretty big already, so I don't, you don't
Dang.
need help in that thing.
I'm,
I
I'm
think
getting I'm getting shade already.
But yeah, they put on great shows. I can't put that over enough. I really enjoy when I get to go to those shows. So definitely spend the money. It's well worth it. Great venue. Definitely check out this show this Saturday night in Greenfield, Indiana. Alex, thanks a lot for coming on, man. We
Yeah.
really
Well, I'm
appreciate
gonna
it.
respond to this. Mark House says I'm trash.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. You know, I got attorneys looking at it, Mark. Just because you think that you got one up and over, you yeah, you can I can't thank you for the card. You can thank me for allowing you the opportunity to be a part of my locker room.
Okay. Sounds like more to come on this situation. It's a kind of a weird situation, but hopefully you can get that taken care of.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Good show this Saturday in Greenfield. Marcus, any other shows?
Yeah, all right. Let me go to that page. No, they're down here. I wrote them down. Okay. Of course, Friday night at the Dub. It's their big month-end show. It's called Shockwave. It looks like the main event's going to be the Outlaw title. Jordan James going up against Mark Magnus and Mike Noble in a triple threat. So that right there should be the price of admission. And they got a few others I don't have. Of course, Alex just did Supremacy. Saturday night in Martinsville is the JICW Austin Fury Memorial Show. They also are doing like I call like a King of the Ring. Last year's winner was Nick Diamond. The main event, I guess they said, is going to be Nick Diamond versus Jared Kripke versus King Fury, which is Austin Fury's brother, for that title. So maybe they're not doing like a King of the Ring, but it is action-packed show down in Martinsville. This will be the final Austin Fury Memorial Show at the request of the family themselves. And then on Sunday, Warrior Pro 4, Year 4. It takes place in Danville, Indiana. The main event's going to be Jay Beef taking on Jesse Winchester for the WPW title. So that's the shows I have. So, and again, like I said, and then Alex's show is also. So a lot of action-packed shows this weekend.
Marcus, I got a question because I don't know if I'm right, so that's why I'm asking you, because I don't want to say something wrong. When is the show that WCWO is doing out in front of the?
Oh yeah, man! Thank you.
That's
Saturday also. Oh man, how did I forget all those? Okay, no, that's next weekend.
Is it? Because I thought it was the 20.
I thought he said it was running at the same time as Thorntown. Let me gander at that real quick.
Okay.
I do know the Thorntown Turn Into the Leaves is next weekend. Man, I
thought I'd seen the date, and I may have seen it wrong, but I thought it was this Saturday. That's why I was asking you, because I wasn't for sure if I was correct or not.
While you guys are figuring that out, Kelly put a comment here that she'd like to thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers over the past month, and that she is doing a lot better.
It is next Saturday, Tony.
Okay.
Saturday, the September 27th.
Marcus?
No, this says next weekend.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Marcus, this weekend is the 27th. This weekend is the 27th. Weekend coming up. Day's the 22nd.
okay, so this weekend coming up, we also, that's what you get when you've been off for a month.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Okay,
Okay.
so WCWO is also going to be at the Festival of the Turning Leaves in Thorntown, Indiana on Saturday and Sunday, right on Main Street. You get to Thorntown, find a place to park. You cannot miss where that ring is. And it's a very good festival. Kelly I used to go over there every year. It's very well done. And then Saturday the 27th, WCWO will be set up in front of Lucas Oil Stadium as part of the Circle City Classic. They will be running shows noon, 3 p.m., and immediately following the Circle City Classic. So you got at least 3 shows taking place in downtown Indianapolis, right next to the building that housed the Royal Rumble back in January. So
And no cost anything to see those shows, correct?
absolutely, as far as I know, that's outside. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, there'll be a free show, so definitely check that out. WCWO is kicking ass, man. They are just doing outstanding.
Thank you, Tony. I don't know how I forgot about that. And Joey, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I got my weekend mixed up. That's why I didn't say that. Miss Abigail's in there. she could have straightened me up a little bit. I did. I got since we hadn't been anywhere for a month, I kind of got my months all messed up. But yes, they are on fire right now.
A lot of good wrestling.
Continuing to be on fire because they got a whole bunch of other shows coming up that's outside the dub shows every week. So
yeah, me and Marcus talked about this the other day. Man, they're doing with all the shows they do per year, they're doing over 100 shows a year, maybe more. And so they're just kicking butt, and a lot of good wrestling this weekend, independent wrestling. So if you're anywhere close to these areas, go check out independent wrestling, support it. So because a lot of good wrestling out there, a lot of good performers, a lot of good promotions.
What's up, Zach?
Yep, Zach Nova's in the house again. Abigail's in the house. Mark House was in the house. I don't know if he's still in the house, but anyhow. Okay, now I have prayers. Got an update on TJ Powers. We was talking about him last Monday. He was at the show on Friday. If you didn't know he had surgery on his back, you wouldn't have known he had surgery on his back. He is getting around very, very well. So continued prayers for continued healing there. I did reach out to Bruce McGar, who I had not seen literally all summer long. He's had some medical issues I will not go into on this, but he is doing a lot better. So, but continue to pray for Bruce McGar. Christian Cash, also, he lost his brother this past week. So condolences to Christian Cash. And Cameron Wilson, who works for AACW, he had a heat-related incident take place Saturday. By the end of the night, he was doing okay, but he did have some trouble with the heat, and so we'll send our prayers out to him. Okay, birthdays. Tony got the call from our good buddy Bobby, and Bobby's birthday was this past week.
Yep.
And so we're giving a belated birthday to our good buddy Bobby, who every so often is with us on the road. So, and Bobby's missing it as much as everybody else is. So, happy birthday to Bobby. Okay, on Tuesday we got T.S. Wiley. On Wednesday we have Andre Stray. On Thursday we have Max Sterling and Johnny Scrutch. Not sure who that is. Then on Friday we have Austin Diamond. And on Sunday we have the WCWO rookie Ronan. And I got one more on here, but I can't remember who that says. All right, I have another one, but sorry if I forget your name, but I didn't write it down to where I can read it. Got a person in here from Maysville, Kentucky. Hello, David.
Yeah, hello.
Now I will go over results. Let me go back to that. Kelly and I finally made it back out in the world, and we was at the, well, here, let me do this one first. New Generation Wrestling, these are thanks to Larry Hughes. New Generation Wrestling was at the Bluffton Fair in Bluffton, Indiana on Friday the 19th. Get this. Juice Warta pinned Jeremy Hagley Friday night. Kelly's wrestling boyfriend Nerd beat CFR. Justin Myers beat Tate Manson. Excalibur beat Jet Sexton. Oh So Delicious defeated Will the Thrill and Chug. And I don't know which one of these would have been main event. Mitchell Taylor defeated Idle Hines. And Congo Kong defeated Andre Stray. That is a very solid card.
Yes, it is.
Very solid card. I wish I could have been in two places at once because I would have been up there as well. But Kelly and I returned back to our home base, I guess you could say. WCWO's Fan Appreciation Night at the Outlaw Arena, Indianapolis on Friday. Joey told me there was 250-ish there. Big crowd, big loud crowd. Saw half the WCW Tag Team Champions Timmy Jackson defeat Oso Pierce. Jackson Morgan and Will Asher defeated Max Sterling and Pogo. Sorry, he's getting tickled. Cameron Saturn defeated David Light. He is now the number one contender for the Gunslinger title. And he will take on Maliko this upcoming Friday. The Highlight Reel defeated Mike Noble and ZJK. Mark Magnus defeated Zach Nova, Troy Valentine, Cousin Cooter, and the Waterboy in a scramble match. WCW Gunslinger champion Maliko defeated Brody Botkins in a non-title. And Zay Gates with Billy Palmer defeated the WCW Outlaw champion Jordan James Skull Crusher via DQ, and Billy Palmer turned and attacked Zay Gates. And so then Zay Gates issued the challenge that Billy Palmer will take on Jackson Morgan on Friday. Zay will be taking on David White. So I did have a few more. Okay, then Saturday, Kelly and I was in Sharpsville, Indiana, back at the Sharpsville gym. AACW's Brawl in the Fall. Saturday, the 20th. Tanner Kelly defeated Jake Elliott. No, he didn't. Tanner Kelly with Jake Elliott defeated Will the Thrill. Tate Manson defeated Juice Horta. Hobo Jones defeated Strife, Eric Onyx, and Jake Elliott with Tanner Kelly in a fatal four-way. Hysterics defeated AACW U.S. Champion Cruiser with Jensen via DQ. And Jensen and Ajax defeated Honey Badger and the AACW Women's Champ Paige Jones. Main event, Congo Kong and Oh So Delicious defeated Nerd and the AACW Tag Team Champions Bob Steele and Cody Lee. My match of the night was the main event. Warren said his match of the night was the Fatal 4-Way. And then on Friday night, my match of the night was Maliko versus Brody. So a lot of good wrestling this past weekend as well. AACW probably brought in 75 people, which is not bad for a show running less than an hour from WrestlePalooza. They brought in 75 pretty loud fans, so it was a good show. All right, one more thing. Shirt of the week. I dug out a micro shirt. Oh, make me big. There we go. There's the micro shirt. This is from our good buddy Hot Rod. He was seen on the Discovery Channel show Little Brawlers that was back last year. He took on Little Show on the main event of that program. So there's the front of it, and it says something about Bruno Mars. It has nothing on him. I think these shirts are $40. You can get them on the microwrestling.com website or anywhere you can see micro wrestlers, whether it's in Pigeon Forge or their road shows. These shirts are available. So that is all I have.
Awesome. Sounds like you had a good weekend, Marcus.
Yes, I did. Kelly got wore out. She went to bed yesterday and didn't get up till this morning, but she seems to be in a lot better today. But it wore her out. We didn't even go out to breakfast with them like we do. As soon as the show was over, Warren and Stephanie helped us get her stuff to the car, and we headed on home. She was just pooped. So
Memphis wrestling, yeah.
well, he said WWA too. Mr. David will have to talk sometime. Part of the Poffos. Yeah, we'll have to talk sometime. We may have you on here.
Yeah.
That kind of a background.
Yeah, most definitely.
Can I ask you a personal question, David? How old are you? Just so I know roughly where you're at. I'm guessing you're in your 50s at least.
Kelly said Nerd was robbed. FOE.
Nerd was too busy gyrating his hips to worry about what was going on in the ring. He was up there in the audience and everything else. It's like,
well, Kelly probably didn't see the rest of the match then. She was probably too busy following Nerd around.
well, keeping an eye on him anyway. Yeah. Shout out to Travis Southern for filling in for Kelly on Saturday night too. Since Kelly couldn't ring announce, Travis, the general manager, stepped in, and it was a good show. It was a good show.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome. Let's support independent wrestling. Well, guys, I don't think we have a whole lot more. I think we can bring in our special guest and go ahead.
Your age, Tony.
Huh?
That David is at your age. He's 61.
Oh, 61. Well, I'm 62. I'm a little bit older, but
yeah, we can talk all day with you, David. Trust me.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But we can get our guest in here, and we'll get this rapid fire going. Marcus, if you want to, just do your question, then if you got some Warrens, do Warrens, so you can double up, and then I'll go after that, and then.
Okay. Now I have 3 questions from Warren. 2 will be standard, but then that last one will be right after the funny story at the end.
Okay.
That says, his pick your favorite, which one I'm talking.
Yeah.
The one that Warren always ends with.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we got a special guest here for rapid fire, Bobby Blade. Welcome to the program.
Hey, first of all, I just want to say thanks for having me on. I can't think of a better place to be on a Monday night than Gonzo's Wrestling Room. But however, I do have a gripe with you all. First thing right off the bat, I think I deserve a little bit better introduction. So allow me to introduce myself to you in case you don't know me. I am the meanest, cheatingest, chokingest, eye-pokingest, crotch-kickingest, your mama's stickingest, spitting on babies, smacking old ladies, one-man domestic disturbance, the man, the myth, the living legend, a true old-school icon, the man you paid to see. I am Lone Wolf, Bobby Blade, 5-time Hall of Famer.
Again, welcome to the program, and that was outstanding.
All right.
Oh, thank you very much. I've been working on that for a long time.
I got to wait for the clock to finish.
So, Marcus,
It's 7 o'clock.
Marcus, let's talk, me and you, and let's add him to that thing that we're doing.
Yeah, I told you would. We may
Yeah.
have to do this in 2 episodes. I've got so much to ask.
Yeah, but you know what the thing I'm talking about doing, the battle thing that we're going to do.
Oh, well, he can. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll talk.
Well, you get with him, and we'll add him in.
Okay. I'll do that.
If he's willing to do it. Well, let's get going, guys. Marcus will go first. He's going to double up a couple times with our other gentleman who's normally with us, Warren, who couldn't make it tonight. He had another commitment. And then I will go third. Chris will go fourth. And we'll go around and do it for about maybe 20, 25 minutes or so.
He's
And
having
again,
another commitment getting ready to watch football. He
that's
ain't working.
not what he said.
He ain't working.
This is the first time I know he's worked on a Monday. It's always been third Wednesdays and Thursdays and stuff. So I don't know.
Yep.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
All right. I got familiar with Mr. Blade back in July. I did see him at the Frankfurt show, EWA at the Frankfurt show. And then the very next night, I watched him get inducted into his 5th Hall of Fame. And once I heard his speech that they had to cut short because, as you could tell, he could go for a while. So we got to get him on here because he's got stories. So congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
I love your entrance music, by the way. So whoever wrote that is a genius. That was fantastic. So
That'd be me.
Yep, you did very well.
I appreciate that.
Again, thank you for being on. My first question is, when did you first get interested in professional wrestling?
Well, I've been watching it. I've been a fan of it ever since I was a little kid. My dad had always told me that I started watching wrestling around 1977. I grew up watching Memphis wrestling, so Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, they were my favorites as a little kid. But then, however, later on, started watching Georgia Championship Wrestling, and I got hooked on a guy named Roddy Piper. And he caught my attention. He was the first guy to actually catch my attention and keep it because he was this loudmouth, brash guy. And, he talked a bunch of crap and he was able to back it up. And that got my attention. And then, of course, too, when he ended up going to the WWF and the build up for the first WrestleMania and everything. And my father ended up taking me to a closed circuit location in a movie theater. And it was full, and I was the only person that was cheering for Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff that night. So, Roddy Piper was the first guy to grab my attention and keep it. And when I saw that first WrestleMania, that's when I knew that I wanted to be like Roddy Piper. I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And everybody thought I was crazy, and then I actually followed through with it and actually became one. So, Roddy Piper was the guy for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Marcus, do you have one?
Well, first, I don't know if we've ever had anybody on here that's ever watched anything on a closed circuit. Because in the old days, that was cable.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. You've seen the first WrestleMania in a closed circuit location. So
yeah, sure did. It was great. The whole theater was packed, and it was, they were reacting just like they would at an arena and everything. So it was kind of cool. It was a cool atmosphere.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Warren. Warren always asks if you could go back in time and could get a front row seat to any wrestling event that ever took place, where would you want to be?
Oh, that's easy. WrestleMania 3. The whole deal for WrestleMania 3, to me, it was the perfect wrestling show. You had Hogan and Andre on top to sell the tickets and the pay-per-views. And then you had that incredible Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat match. And then one of my personal favorite matches that people often overlook was Roddy Piper against Adorable Adrian Adonis. To me, that was my favorite match of that show. And it was just a fun little match. But, there's so many legendary things happened that night at WrestleMania 3. The quote-unquote 93,173 people in the crowd and everything. It's just the amazing shots that you saw. I think that would have been fantastic to have been there live and in person to see it all and witness everything.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. A lot of people pick that. I agree with you. My question is, favorite wrestling matches you have seen live? Just a few.
Oh, favorite matches I've seen live. Well, I did see. I was at the Iron Man match with who was it? It's when the Undertaker came back. Triple H and The Rock. Armageddon, I believe. No, it was Unforgiven. It was Armageddon, I believe, is what it was. 2000. It was in Louisville, Kentucky, so that's just about an hour and a half away from here. So I was able to go there, and I sat 2 rows from the top, and that was probably my favorite ever match that I've seen live in person. Also, too, I got to see Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair. Roddy Piper is going to factor in a lot of my answers, so I'm very biased to Roddy Piper, so Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair, that happened at Rupp Arena, which is just a couple miles down the road from me in Lexington, and in Kentucky, obviously. But that was a great thing to see. That was my first, my 2 favorite wrestlers, Roddy Piper and Ric Flair, facing each other, and that was in 1991, I believe, and that was an incredible thing too.
Okay, Chris?
First, we'll go with Kelly's question real quick.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Kelly wants to know who your favorite super fan is, Kelly or Marcus?
Well, I cannot answer that because I just met you all the couple times. So I've just been on 2 locations with you guys. So you're both on equal footing with me.
Okay, that's fair.
My first question is, how long have you been in the wrestling business, and how did you get started in the wrestling business?
Well, my first match that I ever had was August the 7th, 1991. That was in Scottsburg, Indiana, and it was on a Wednesday night of all things. I had went to school with a buddy whose brother-in-law wrestled. And, of course, I kept begging my buddy. His name is Jimmy Lamb. And went to school with him forever. And he had started wrestling, and I started bugging him, please get me in, please get me in, please get me in, and he never would do it. So I just kept begging him, and then finally I came across a chance meeting with Handsome Jimmy Valiant while I was at a grocery store, and talked to him and talked about coming up to his camp and all that stuff. And he quoted me a price and said, here's what, will happen and all this and all that. We'll find a spot for you and get you trained correctly and all that. So I'm all excited because I just met Handsome Jimmy Valiant. I go back and I call Jimmy Lamb and say, hey, I just met Handsome Jimmy Valiant, so on and so forth. And he said this and blah, 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 and go to Shawsville, Virginia, and it'll be this much and everything. He says, don't do anything just yet. I'll talk to my brother-in-law. He talked to his brother-in-law. The very next day, his brother-in-law, who was a guy named Mr. Irresistible Terry Embry, ended up calling me and offering to train me. So he started showing up over at my house, actually, and started, he laid out like some carpet padding in the backyard and started training me there. And then eventually we ended up moving to a ring, and he started training me in there. And I didn't know a whole lot, but I thought I did. Ended up knowing enough to get through my first match, barely. And that was with Mr. Irresistible Terry Embry in Scottsburg. We went 4 minutes and 28 seconds, and I went under. And it was a great learning experience. Never been through anything like that in my life. But August the 7th, 1991 was my first match.
Okay.
Sorry, I ramble a little bit. So
You're fine. You're fine.
Okay, I looked into some stuff. You've had a busy week.
yeah.
Just this past week alone. Tell us about working with. You've worked with some big names here. Booker T's one that popped out. Tell us about some other names and what it's like to work with these bigger names.
Well, see, I worked with Booker T in New South Wrestling a couple of years ago. He was amazing. He came to the show just to do like a meet and greet and then manage a guy named Matt Bine, who was working at the time as Matty Ice. And he was the Reality of Wrestling champion in Houston. So they were doing a little cross promotion between Reality of Wrestling and New South Wrestling. Booker T came down. He watched everybody's matches. He critiqued everybody. He offered advice. Man, he was great. He was fantastic, and he gave me props for my my promo that I did because I was managing at the time as well. And then also too, I would slip over on commentary during the last half of the show and do the back half of the show on commentary with two other partners. And I actually did commentary on the match that Booker T managed on. So he was kind of close to us, and we would say something and he was close enough to hear us, and he kept looking over and he would give us, nods of approval and everything. And I was over the moon. Let's see, other than Booker T, I've worked with, Jerry the King Lawler, Superstar Bill Dundee. I've wrestled the Bushwhackers twice. That was in 98. And just about everybody that's been through Memphis, the company I was working for at the time was called the Mountain Wrestling Association, and we kind of sort of had a working relationship with the USWA, which was the Memphis territory. And when guys weren't being used down there, they would come up and work for us and everything. So we would work with almost all of those guys that were, in Memphis at that time, and that was a great learning experience. Let's see. Rhino. I've been on shows with Rhino, Nick Aldis. I was just on a show Thursday night in Hyden, Kentucky, with the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Thomas Latimer, and that was a cool experience to be able to call that match on commentary. Never thought I would ever say that I got to call an NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. That was an amazing experience, and that was something that I'll never forget.
That's awesome to be able to say that. That's crazy because I'm a big old school NWA fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome. Who has been the biggest influence on your wrestling career?
Oh man, biggest influence, Dale TNT Mann. He was a promoter here in Kentucky. He also too, he's an old school guy, so he did jobs for like WWF and Crockett's, and all around the the different territorials and all that areas and stuff. But he ran the Mid-Continental Wrestling Association, which later became the Mountain Wrestling Association, and he ran that forever. And it started in 1969. He took over in 1970 and ran it all the way up to 1995. But he was the guy that he took a shot on a quiet, introverted, skinny kid with long blonde hair, gave him a chance, and allowed him to come up out of his shell and everything. And I totally thank him for that. There was also another guy that influenced me really well too. Is a guy named Fabulous Danny Fargo. And he was the guy that allowed me to find my voice and allowed me to start cutting my first promos. I never opened my mouth. I was the silent type, kind of like a beautiful Bobby Eaton for the first several years. And then finally, Danny Fargo was out there. And I just had a match with a guy named Sexy Sean Casey. And I come up and I'm supposed to cut a promo. I'm scared to death. I don't know what to do. So Danny Fargo takes the microphone, just sticks it in my face, and he goes, "All right, it's time, sink or swim." And then I just unleashed hell on this promo, and I've become known for my promo skills. So, and that's all because of Fabulous Danny Fargo. So I have him to thank for that. So Dale Mann and Danny Fargo, the two biggest influences on my career.
Okay. Chris?
Excuse me, struggling over here for a minute. What's the one thing you love the most about the wrestling business, and something you hate about the wrestling business?
The one thing I love the most about the wrestling business is the payoffs. Some good hot dogs.
I say he loves these hot dogs.
No, I love the camaraderie, especially with the older guys. The older guys kind of stuck together and everything, and we were like more of a family and all that stuff. One thing that I hate about the wrestling business is the egos. The egos just kind of kill it for me. When you got somebody there that. Here's the thing. We're all there to accomplish the same goal, and that's to entertain the people that paid their money to come in to watch the show and to entertain them enough to where they'll pay money to come back the next time. Now, when you've got somebody in there saying, well, I'm not going to put so-and-so over because of my ego this and my ego that kind of kills the entire vibe, and that kind of kills what we're trying to work toward, Just show up. Shut up, listen, close your mouth, open your eyes, open your ears, do what you're told to do it to the best of your ability. Make sure that every single person in that building is entertained and wants to come back. And make sure that they want to come back to see you, the person that you're working with, and the entire company as a whole. But yeah, egos kill that.
Marcus?
Hey, real quick, Marcus, before you go, we had a question in the comment section.
All right.
David wanted to know who would be an opponent that you wished you would or could have a match with.
David's stealing questions.
Well, is that alive or dead?
My question is whoever. So I'm sure David's the same way.
I've already brought his name up 1,000 times so far, Roddy Piper. That would be my number one go-to guy that I ever would want to work with, ever.
Okay, let's
and
go.
I never got a chance.
Who would you want to work with that's alive today?
Not really anybody, because that part of my career is over with, the in-ring part. I'm very, very happy doing commentary and managing. So,
good. Marcus?
Okay, I don't know this story, and I'm not sure these guys do either. Tell us about this Dairy Queen that Jim Cornette went nuts in. What's that story?
You don't know about that? The video's on. Oh man, the video's on YouTube. It's amazing. Oh, okay. So the whole story is Smoky Mountain Wrestling ran Hyden, Kentucky, at the Richard M. Nixon Center, and then after that, the only place in town there is the Dairy Queen to eat. Well, they get in the car, and it's I believe it's Mark Curtis, referee Mark Curtis, I believe, is driving. I might be wrong in that. But then Jim Cornette's riding shotgun, and then you got Chris Jericho in the back and Lance Storm in the back. Chris Jericho is filming. They go through the drive-through of the Dairy Queen, and they order a bunch of burgers and all that stuff and a single banana. So it's a really weird order. So they pull up to go get to pay for the food and all that stuff. And the woman that was working the drive-through did not believe that they were being serious about that order, so they just didn't make it. And Jim Cornette's like, "What do you mean you didn't make it?" And then he proceeds to go crazy on this woman for the next 10 minutes. He jumps out of the car, puts his head in through the drive-through window, starts screaming at her, calling her all kinds of names, calling her everything but her own name, called her some stuff that you'd be embarrassed to hear. And it's just the most amazing video. It's so funny. But anyway, we did a show in Hyden, Kentucky on Thursday, and I was more giddy and happy and excited to go to that Dairy Queen than I was to go to the actual show. So I go to the show and I take pictures and everything, or go to the Dairy Queen and take pictures, and it's just so amazing. And I'm sitting there and my girlfriend's with me, and she's like, "Why are you so smiley?" And I'm like, "You just don't understand what happened here. I don't understand why they don't have a statue of Jim Cornette out front, or at least a poster hanging up or something." I was so amazed and enthused to be at that particular Dairy Queen. Man, that was great. Yeah, I highly just look it up on YouTube. Jim Cornette Dairy Queen incident. It's the funniest thing ever.
No, we'll have to look that up.
It sounds like Jim Cornette. That's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought he had an incident at a Wendy's also, but I could be mistaken. But I thought he had one there too.
I know he doesn't like Wendy's fries.
Yeah. Marcus, do you have one for Warren?
Yeah, I have another one for Warren. Okay. Let's see if I can word this right. If you could go back in time and change the outcome of if you could go back in time and change the outcome of a result to a match or a situation that took place, what would it be?
Okay, this is an easy one. Okay, you remember when they did the test in Stephanie McMahon wedding? They did the deal where Triple H took Stephanie through the drive-through and all that stuff at the end of the wedding. Big reveal. Triple H drugged Stephanie, and then now they're married. Blah blah blah. Well, anyway, like the next week or two, they have a match on Monday Night Raw, and Triple H just squashes Test, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing: you have Test, who looked the part, looked like he could draw money. Triple H could carry him to a believable, great feud, great program, and everything like that. That, with that backstory of Stephanie McMahon being involved, that could have been a good ratings draw. I think that if you would have put Test over Triple H in that particular match, you could have had a huge star, a brand new star, and built him up, because Test should have been filled with rage after that, and he could have had a great thing with Triple H, but they squashed him right off the bat. And I'm just like, man, you missed the boat on that one. But what do I know? I'm just a lowly independent guy. So
I kind of agree with you. Let's see. For me, favorite moment in your wrestling career?
Favorite moment in my wrestling career was being inducted into my first ever Hall of Fame, which was the Mountain Wrestling Association Hall of Fame, because I've been in the wrestling business since '91, so I'm coming up on 34 years. And actually, I just passed 34 years, I should say. In 2010 in Winchester, Kentucky, I was surprise inducted into the MWA Hall of Fame, and it was in front of a packed house, and it was the MWA's 40th anniversary show. It was a long-running company at the time, and it shut down like 3 years later. But anyway, I didn't know it was a big production. We had videos made to play on the big screen and everything for all of the Hall of Fame class that year, which included some of the bigger names in Kentucky wrestling history. And I was the very last induction, and it was a total surprise, and it was a shock. And I got up in the ring, and I bawled like a baby. And as soon as they said that we have one more surprise induction, everybody look at the screen, and my music started playing. And the video that was playing up on the screen was me coming to the ring as a manager with a monster Abyss behind me. So I looked at the video, and it didn't register that was my music. And I saw Abyss, and I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know Abyss was here tonight. I didn't see him in the back. That's cool that they're putting him in the Hall of Fame tonight. And I look over at Aaron Rose, who's my commentary partner that night, and his eyes are really, really big, really wide. And he's going, pointing at me, and I'm like, huh? And then I look up, and I realize that the clips have changed, and it's more clips of me. And I'm like, oh, crap, this is me. So I got up, and I walked from the commentary booth into the aisleway. And as soon as I hit the aisleway, just tears just started flooding. And then there was a bunch of the old school guys that were there for specifically the Hall of Fame, I should say. As soon as they saw me and everything, they had their arms outstretched. I gave them a hug, and they just all started bawling. And then everybody in the crowd, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. And my head swelled up like this. And man, so yeah, that was my favorite moment in my career right there. They completely caught me off guard. That was a surprise. It was a shock. And I wish my mom and dad would have been there that night to see it. So.
Okay. Chris?
Well, in your almost 35 years in the wrestling business, what's been the biggest change that you've seen in the business from when you got into it to now?
Well, back in the day, we used to be able to call stuff, on the fly in the ring because we had kayfabe dressing rooms, heels in one dressing room, baby faces in the other dressing room. So, you wouldn't see each other beforehand. Now, the biggest change that I've noticed now is everything is talked about beforehand. Like, you're going to do this and blah, blah, blah. And then you take the bump over here, 0.2 meters away from the left side of the ring. And this, make sure you're that, and I'm just like, man, how do you remember all this stuff? And I'm just like, man, it's, we just called it on the fly. We knew, I don't know how much kayfabe is on here, if you practice that on here or not. But, we used to call everything in the ring on the fly. We knew the finish, but that was about it, So that's the biggest change, I think.
Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that has changed like that?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. Yeah, because the thing is the calling the spots in the back allows for faster paced action and faster paced matches. However, if you get lost, how do you recover from it? A lot of the guys nowadays, they don't know how to recover from it.
They get off script and then they're screwed.
Yeah. And back in the day, we would call it on the fly and all that stuff. You can adjust things, in the ring, if you needed to.
And I would think that would help because you could adjust it like how the crowd's reacting as well.
Yep. The thing is too is some of these guys nowadays, they get in their spots and they start doing 100,000 moves and going 1,000 miles an hour, and the crowd might just be sitting on their hands. And you need to adjust that, because if the crowd are sitting on their hands, that means they're not enjoying what they're seeing and what you're giving them. So you got to adjust that on the fly and be able to switch that to entertain the people in the building that paid to come see you. I always told people that new school wrestling works, but it doesn't always work. However, old school wrestling always works, because you can always work a crowd into buying what you're selling.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Of course, I've been around a long time. Seen a lot of wrestling.
Well, we've done commentary where the storyline fell apart. We see that.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden the action just stops and they're like, okay, well, they lost track of where they were at.
Yeah.
We've seen that. So
and you can tell the difference in the matches that they're calling in the ring, or the matches that like he said are all planned beforehand. Because like you still see some of the I don't want to use older, but some of the more experienced wrestlers, you'll still see some of them guys calling it as they go. And then you can tell it where you get some of the younger guys and it's all pre-planned, and you can tell the difference, especially like guys like all of us that watch a lot of wrestling and go to a lot of events.
Yeah.
Marcus, down to our final 3 questions.
okay, 3. Okay, you did commentary Shark Boy this past week, am I correct?
Yes, I did. That was cool.
Okay, who else have you done commentary with that's you just was thrilled to be doing commentary with?
Well, I have a couple of great teachers. I recently just started doing commentary just a few years ago. I did a run with commentary before COVID, and it wasn't very good, and it wasn't very satisfying because I didn't know what I was doing, and nobody was really teaching me how to do it. And then COVID shut everything down, and then when they restarted, there's a guy named Aaron Rose who contacted me because a new company was starting up, which was the Elite Wrestling Alliance, and they were going to be having commentary and filming the shows and stuff like that. And the commentary crew was supposed to be himself, Aaron Rose, and a guy named DJ Otis Badass, who was he's a DJ on a local radio station here. And Otis couldn't make the first 3 shows, so Aaron calls me and he says, "I know you're done," because at that point I was done with wrestling. I was done with wrestling, and he says, "I know you're done with wrestling, but Otis can't make these first 3 shows for the EWA. Will you be willing to step in for only 3 shows and take his place and help us out. And I'm like, no, man, I'm done. Okay, you talked me into it. It didn't take much talking to get me to convince me. So I go to do the first 3 shows, and 3 shows wound up to be over 100 plus shows since I've been back now. But he taught me, Aaron Rose taught me really well. I learned a lot from Aaron. There's also a guy named Nick Manawa who he does commentary everywhere, and I give Nick Manawa a lot of credit as well. I do more of a sports-based commentary broadcast with Nick, as I do a Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan type broadcast with Aaron Rose. Each company that I commentate for, I do a different style with. Those are my 2 teachers. That's who I consider my 2 teachers. Done commentary with Shark Boy and a lot of different independent wrestlers around the area here. There's another guy who's just starting up too, and he's doing really well for himself. His name is Brant Turner. He's the son of Crusher Bones. He's well known on Twitter as Tripping Balls, and he's coming along really well too. I like working with him. The commentary has been the most fulfilling part of my career, I think.
I agree with that.
Sorry, I got a little off track there.
No, that's fine.
You got anything else from Warren, or is that going to be at the end?
Well, that'll be I have his last question. So,
okay. Let's see. Favorite meal to eat?
Favorite meal to eat? Any kind of Mexican meal. Any kind. I love it. I mean, just any. However, though, I need to be near a bathroom because it will murder me. But I love it. It's the best tasting stuff in the world. Anything.
Okay. Can't go wrong with Mexican.
Man, yeah. Chili relleno. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, you had mentioned during my last question about slowing down, about how everything's sometimes fast paced, and we always hear a lot of people telling you, like younger wrestlers in the business, to slow down.
Yeah.
What does slowing down mean to you?
Slowing down means means giving the audience enough time to digest what's happening and to let the story marinate. Let what they're seeing catch up in their brain and everything to where it all comes together to them and makes sense. If you're going 100 miles an hour, people don't have time to react. It looks pretty, but I mean, it's like a dance recital, and when you slow it down, you might be able to get like 3, 4, 5 moves in and then slow it down, let the crowd react. Do a couple more moves, boom, boom, slow it down, let the crowd react. The whole thing is we're trying to entertain the people and trying to get them to spend their money the next time, trying to get them to go to the gimmick tables and spend money at the gimmick tables, if I'm merch and all that stuff. Slowing down means to savor the flavor, to enjoy the steak that you're eating, as opposed to just gobbling it down and still being hungry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big problem I have with AEW. And I watch AEW every week, and I still, they do enough to keep me coming back, but they don't sell, they don't let things breathe, and they don't do facial expressions very much. Yeah. Just all moves, and I get bored. I know it's going to sound bad, but I get bored real easy, especially like this pay-per-view they just had, 5-hour show. I want now like the first match they had on that show, you had Edge and Christian and FDR. Them guys know how to sell. They know how to let things breathe. It's one of my favorite matches on the show. But a lot of stuff is just so fast paced and so quick. It's just like you said, bang, 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 bang. And honestly, you'll say it's a good match, but it's hard to remember anything that happened in the match other than maybe one big move. You know?
Yeah, and it's like you also said earlier, in your statement there and everything too, that the facial expressions are a big part of it. The thing is you got to, I think I was always like a cartoonish type character, and I was always doing the wide, eyes and the, oh my God, blowing the cheeks out and all that stuff. And the the thing is I hate more than anything for a wrestler to go to the ring and they're just, there's a blank stare on their face, because they're trying to remember 1,000 spots. There's a blank stare on their face and everything like that. Nobody cares, but you go to the ring and you got charisma. Charisma makes or break a match. It makes or break a wrestler. Charisma trumps everything, in my opinion. That means more than the actual wrestling. If you're very charismatic, look at Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes goes out there, he does some basic moves and everything, but he's shucking and jiving. He's, this Saturday night in the Omna, baby, and stuff. He talks the people into the building. Charisma can talk the people in the building. Charisma involves the crowd. If you look at somebody in the crowd and you get one person involved in that match, then it spreads like wildfire amongst that whole side of that ring. Then you turn to this side and you work on this crowd, the side of the crowd. It spreads like wildfire over there. Before you know it, you got the whole building going crazy, and you're doing basic stuff and all that stuff. If you involve the crowd and you're charismatic to the crowd, and you give the people a reason to care about your match and to care about you and to care about enough to go to your gimmick table and buy your merchandise, or care enough, hate you so badly that they were willing to pay money to come back the next time to see the top babyface kick your butt, or if you're a babyface, come to see you go after the heel champion and all that stuff. You're doing something. That's where you're doing something. Getting the people to come back, that's the main thing. And to do that, charisma is the top number one thing. Charisma, and then wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. Make me believe, and I'm not saying you know what I'm saying. I believe everything, but make me believe. Get me into the match. That's what counts. Okay, I think I lost my place. Who's next here?
Marcus.
Yeah.
Or actually, Marcus.
Yep. Have you had a chance to go to the Miss Elizabeth exhibit in Frankfurt?
Yeah, actually, I worked a show there about a month ago.
I wasn't sure if you was at that show or not. Give us what your opinion of that museum was.
Good majority of the museum is just like, a history of Frankfort, Kentucky, and Kentucky in general. But there's one room that is a very nice room, and you walk in, and there's like a couple of Elizabeth's dresses and like some of her leather jackets that she wore when she was part of the NWO, and a necklace she wore at WrestleMania 3. And there's lots of pictures and merchandise on the walls and everything like that. And honestly, I think it's a great addition to that museum, and it can really get somebody that's not even interested in wrestling, or at least the history of it, Miss Elizabeth's part of it. I think that was a welcome part. I wish it was going to stay around, but I think it's only going to be open for like 2 years or something like that, and then they're going to shut it down. But I think it should remain a permanent fixture inside that museum.
Can I ask Warren's question? It's not a Warren's question, but can I take his spot?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you said you worked with Jerry Lawler and all them. Give us some of the famous venues that you've actually worked in.
My favorite venue is the Georgetown Convention Center in Georgetown, Kentucky. There's it's a little smoky bingo hall. Smokefield Bingo Hall. It's still there, but it's being used for something else now. No wrestling events have ran there since like 2004, 2005, something like that. But there were so many big names that came through that particular building. Like Randy Macho Man Savage, he worked there for ICW as well as the beginnings of the MWA. Lanny Poffo, Hillbilly Jim got his start there. Jerry Lawler's been there. Jeff Jarrett's been there. Gypsy Joe, all these huge names from the 80s and the 70s and even the 60s and everything have all wrestled in that building. And we've ran TV out of that building and all that stuff. I worked with a lot of Memphis guys in that building. All these huge names have come through that place. And it's just got such historical meaning as far as wrestling goes. I've seen a lot of guys in the twilight of their careers there. I've seen a lot of guys that are up and comers, a lot of guys that hadn't yet made it, but are soon to be making it. Like Carl Anderson, he wrestled there, every week. We were there. And the Monster Abyss, when he was Prince Justice, Wildcat Chris Harris wrestled there. Jillian Hall wrestled there. Who else? I'm drawing a blank right now, but that was a historical building. We just did a show at the Richard M. Nixon Center on Thursday night in Hyden, Kentucky, and like I said, the Smoky Mountain Wrestling used to run there, and so that's a historical building as well. We just ran Pikeville at the same place that Smoky Mountain Wrestling used to run years ago. So on and so forth. There's a lot of great venues with a lot of great history. Indianapolis, the National Guard Armory up there.
The Tyndall Armory?
It's the great big one.
Oh, that's the one Joey ran in. Yeah, I know where you're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a guy named Dave Reardon used to run IWF there. I've worked in that building, everything, and a lot of history in that building as well. All kinds of places. But my favorite one is the Georgetown Convention Center. Not a big size building or anything like that. You look at it from the outside, doesn't look like anything special, but a lot of history and a lot of big names, a lot of people that, made big money in their careers and wrestled there. A lot of people before their prime, past their prime, during their prime, they've all wrestled in that building.
Okay. If you could be any pro wrestler or wrestling personality for a day, who would it be?
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
I had a feeling that's who he was going to go with.
Yep.
Since I kind of knew that, could you give me one more?
Okay. Let's see. Probably, I don't know, The Rock.
All right, Chris.
If a young man or woman came up to you that was going to get into the wrestling business, what would be your best piece of advice that you would give them?
If you're really serious about it, find a reputable trainer or a training school to attend. If the trainer has not made a name for themselves, then that's not a good trainer. If they can't make themselves a star, how are they going to make you a star? Also, too, know when to leave. Have a plan. Have something to replace wrestling when you do leave. As soon as it stops being fun, get out, because there's nothing worse than being in the business when you're not enjoying what you're doing anymore. Slow down. Learn to use this. The more you learn to use your mouth, to work the crowd, and once you learn how to work the crowd, the less you have to destroy your body. Get out before major damage happens. So.
All right, Marcus, the final question.
There is one in there, Chris. Second one. Yep, there you go.
Well, yes, I would go against Andre the Giant, but there better be a massive payday for it.
Hopefully Andre, because if he didn't like you, he really beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, you heard those stories of where he was wrestling Randy Savage. He didn't like Randy Savage at all.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask Warren's first, then I'll do mine. Warren always finishes up. He wants to know if you were a degenerate or an NWO.
Okay.
I'll let him know. That's a good answer.
For life.
We've had 2 or 3 people write in 4 Horsemen.
I'm 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, I'm 4 Horsemen as well, but however, between the Degeneration X and the NWO, I'm picking the NWO.
All right. Okay. It's time for your funny story.
Okay.
You haven't already told a few funny stories, but we're ready for another one.
How PG does it have to be?
It doesn't have to be PG. Trust me, Scott Diamond was on 2 weeks ago. Do you think that was PG?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I heard you got Austin Diamond coming up. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, a few weeks.
Okay, let's see. funny story, and this is kind of disgusting, and this is also going to be in a book that's going to be released here in the next year or so of locker room stories. I'm in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, and I'm getting ready to have a mixed tag team street fight. And let me preface this by saying that I was very sick going into this. So that's a must-know fact. I was very sick going into this. It's me and a woman named Siren against a guy named Tuffy and a woman named Tammy B. So what was supposed to happen was, fight, biff, boom, bam. Eventually, they're going to take a trash can, stick it over the top part of my body. Okay? And then they were going to take baseball bats, beat the can while I'm inside of it. Boom, boom, boom. And then Tuffy was supposed to give me the Iggy. Big baseball bat shot. I take the bump. Tammy B goes to the top rope, jumps off, and is supposed to give me a splash onto the trash can with me inside of it. 1, 2, 3. Now, what actually happened was, remember that I was sick. They put the trash can over me. They get the baseball bats. They start beating me. I can't hear them because they're beating the trash can, and it's so loud in there that I can't hear Tuffy give me the Iggy. So finally he goes, wham! It's real super hard with it. It kind of caves in toward my face a little bit. And I'm like, well, that must be the big shot. So I take the bump. I go down. And Tammy B is supposed to jump off the top rope with a splash. Boom. She jumps off the top rope and she gets scared in midair and ends up putting her knees down. So she drives her knees into this trash can, and it drives the trash can into my stomach, and it drives a bunch of sick out of my butt. And I immediately smell it. Now, at that time, I'm wearing Raven-esque type gear, the cut-off shorts and the cut-off shirt with the flannel around me. If I hadn't been wearing this flannel, you would have seen it because it would have came through. It was so wet that it would have came through the shorts. The flannel was the only thing camouflaging it so you couldn't see it. So she pins me, 1, 2, 3. I'm laying there. I can't get up because I just took a double knees off the top rope into a trash can that was on top of my head after I've been beat with baseball bats. So I can't get up and get to the back. So I have to lay there in it. And then finally, they get out of the ring. They go to the back. I slowly get the trash can off of me. I make my way to the back. And then I can't go to a shower because there's no shower in that building. And I have to go out and manage the next match. Well, actually, it was a boxing match, so I was a corner man, like a judge or a corner man for one of the guys. It was a brother versus brother boxing match. So I had to go out and be a corner man for that. You can smell me from a mile away. I'm not feeling good, and I'm nasty. So I'm just telling them, hurry up, guys, hurry up, guys, hurry up, guys. Take it home. Please take it home. Please take it home. Please take it home. Nope, they take their time. There's 12 rounds of boxing. They take it to the 12th round. I'm like, so it's over with. As soon as it's over with, I jet to the back. I'm like, crap, I can't get changed in the back because people will know. So I grab my money. I grab my gear. I go out to my car. I throw a towel down in my driver's seat. I sit down. I go to the rest area. I take my gear bag in with me. I'm still wearing all of my nasty, filthy, sweaty, stinky gear. I go into the stall. I go in there, take the clothes off. I take the nasty, soiled underwear and plop them down on the floor. And you hear the splat, and it's nasty. So I get myself cleaned up. I put on my street clothes and everything. And then I left all the nasty stuff there on the floor in the rest area, took off out of there. So some poor guy that was working the rest area had to clean all that nastiness up. And I feel sorry for him. But I never went back to that rest area ever again after that. Never once ever again.
Oh,
Awful.
that's crazy. Funniest person you have been around in a pro wrestling locker room?
What's that now?
Funniest person you have been around in a pro wrestling locker room?
Oh, geez. Oh, man. Barry Horowitz. He was hilarious.
Very
Yeah, we
cool.
were in Boonville, Indiana, at the 4-H building. We were running a show there, New American Wrestling, and Ian Rotten was on the show, and Barry Horowitz was back there as well. And those two were talking to each other, and they were cracking jokes back and forth. And Barry Horowitz was hilarious, man. He had everybody in that dressing room just rolling. Great guy. I wish I'd done more shows with him, but sadly, that was the only show that I've ever done with him was that night.
Okay. Chris?
All right. What I'll do with my last question is I give you a chance basically to promote yourself, tell people where they can find you, social media, any upcoming shows, merch, any of that good stuff.
Okay. Well, my next 5 appearances, I will be in Pineville, Kentucky this Saturday night, 9/27, for Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. We'll be filming a couple episodes of Showdown that night, which is the AMW TV show that airs on YouTube. October the 4th, I will be at Generation Next Pro Wrestling for the Gen Next Rumble in Cynthiana, Kentucky. October the 5th, I will be at the Kentucky Wrestling Federation Chase for the Championship Round 2. That's the KWF Heavyweight Title Tournament, and that's in Frankfort, Kentucky. October the 11th, I will be at the Elite Wrestling Alliance for Hardcore Havoc, and that's in Danville, Kentucky. And I'll be involved in the main event that night. Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, which is the guy that I manage. He will be defending the title that night against Adrian Alexander. And then on October the 16th, I will be at AMW Showdown Halloween in Jenkins, Kentucky. After that, I've still got a ton more shows lined up for the rest of the year, and I got bookings going in next year, and it's really crazy. I'm really, really busy unexpectedly at 51 years old. Social media, you can find me on Facebook, Lone Wolf Bobby Blade or Bobby Blade. The thing is, though, is if you send it to the one that is just Bobby Blade, send me a message to let me know where you saw me at, because I'm very picky on that one, because that's kind of my personal page. Lone Wolf Bobby Blade's more wide open. You can find me on Twitter at Old School Icon. You can find me on Instagram at IndieX Blade. You can find me on TikTok at I think it's just Bobby Blade there. Is that it? I think that might be it. I think that's it for social media, maybe.
Well, I want to tell you, it's been one of my favorite guests that we have had.
Oh, thank you very much.
This has been outstanding. I know Marcus is going to get with you about something that we got going on, and maybe you'll want to be a part of it, maybe not, but Marcus will get with you in the near future on that. Again, thank you for coming on. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. I've loved my entire stay here today.
Good. And hey, we'll have you on again sometime.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep. And thank you for coming on, and you have a good night.
All right. You too. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Have a good night.
You too.
Well, guys, you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, just remember, there's a lot of wrestling again this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of great
Not only
wrestling.
here, but if you listen, Kentucky's full of it too. So if you're even further south,
Yeah.
No,
hit those shows.
one thing I got is I agree with you that tonight's show was great. And then please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo'S Sports Room. Please check us out on Instagram, X, Facebook, all social media is at Gonzo'S Sports Room. And then also don't forget our Facer Hill Pro Wrestling Talk on Thursday nights. We'll be live this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for that. And then we'll be back next Monday with GWR.
And we're going to be adding very soon some new stuff to the show that I think is going to be really, really good, really exciting. Hopefully it goes over well. So be tuning in for that. Keep an eye out.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you next Monday night right around 6:30.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
Here, this is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass